Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Golden's Guide. I'm your host, Deborah Hawkins, and I'm here with co-host Lyanca all the way from Austin. How's it going out
Hi,
there?
it's good. It's finally cooling off because Austin and Texas is hot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, y'all are still probably in your bathing suits out there, huh?
Not quite. We got little jackets on,
Oh, do
light
you?
sweaters.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've had some cool nights. We've already hit a little bit of 30s and 40s. So, yeah, it's cool since you've been here. Well, I'm excited about our show today. We have had a good response. A lot of people are interested in some of the EFT work that we've been doing, which is called Emotional Freedom Technique. Lyanca and I are both, trained in it and use it a lot. And the last one we did, we worked with Lyanca. She was really our model for doing uh, imposter syndrome. That's what we did last time, right? I mean, I think
That's
we've done.
right.
I think we've done several things, but
Yes.
we wanted to talk today about anxiety, right, Lee? Because a lot of my clients are going through it. I know you're really deep in it. I mean, everybody's feeling anxiety right now.
Sure. I think that with, the pandemic, lots of people are going to work, so that's a great thing. But we still see, the news, it's troubling. You still see lots of folks that have died and death around you. It's really tough to sometimes to focus in on joy when there's just a lot of grief, either
Hmm.
in your families or in your neighboring families. And so I really felt like we both felt like this was a really good time to showcase a tool that we know that works for anxiety, because anxiety can affect all aspects of your life, regardless if there's a pandemic that's running rampant in the world.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, and it seems like everyone right now, it's not just like one thing. I mean, and we've discussed it on the show before. It's very layered up. Everybody's dealing with not just one or two things, but quite a few things. I did want to talk a little bit again, just for, if you haven't watched previous shows, a little bit about EFT and it's called tapping. I mean, that's the short version of it. Otherwise, it's emotional freedom technique, and I've described it before on the show as a type of emotional acupuncture where you tap certain points on the body, which are meridians, and it's almost like an emotional acupuncture. And it's also, it's like combined ancient Chinese medicine and like modern psychology. I mean, that's the way I would think. What do you think about that description, Lee? I was
Sure. So I've gotten a lot of feedback about, we've been doing this for a long time. So between Deborah and I, we have 27 years of training. Deborah has a certified level 2 train. So we really believe in it. But I think one of the things somebody was asking, well, what does it really work? Do you touch your face? But just to give you a little bit of background, the VA that helps veterans with PTSD, they are looking to get or have gotten approval or looking to get approval for EFT for release of PTSD, for depression, anxiety. So we know that this works. There's been lots of studies, which is in front of the board to get approval, because it's all proven science, and because some of those things that are really locked within our body need a way to release. And just as we've been able to accept acupuncture from the Chinese medicine, this is a new way to actually release a lot of that pent up trauma.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to do a disclaimer here. I mean, we're not doctors, so obviously this is an alternative. Something else you can use, for stress or, like she said, trauma kind of stored in the body. And like she said, I mean, this is not woo anymore. I mean, it was when I trained in it almost 20 years ago. It was certainly viewed as woo. And what I've always told my clients and the people that I work with, you know, I may not be able to describe exactly how it works, but it doesn't matter if it works, right? I mean, if we've got something that works, we're just going to use it. I did want to say that, you know, in doing just a little more research, there are these meridian points that we talk about, just like with acupuncture. You know, acupuncture is about resistance and stuckness in the body, right? I mean, that's what acupuncture does. If you've got a frozen shoulder, they go in and find the point, the meridian, that can loosen and create more energy flow, blood flow to your shoulder, right? I mean, you know, I think people now really accept acupuncture and understand it. This is very similar, where we're tapping on specific points. And my understanding in my research is that it actually triggers the amygdala, if I'm saying that correctly, in the brain, which will immediately, it signals it to calm down, that everything's okay. So it is very similar, you know, to I think acupuncture is the greatest way to describe it, because we're touching points that are opening blockages, just like the physical, only this is more on the emotional. So, you know, I think I saw it on the Today Show recently, you know. I mean, I love that. I mean, I love seeing it.
That means it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
No, just disclaimer,
for me,
we're not doctors. We're not, you know, we're cited. All of this will be cited. But, you know, just jokingly, you know, the Today Show does bring out some really interesting things, but they also do their research. And I think that also speaks to a lot of the healing work that people have been receiving through doing emotional freedom technique.
Well, you know, when we filmed yesterday with one of our guests, you know, and it was about holistic healing, I think people really are turning to that more since COVID. I mean, I think we're looking for alternatives more than ever. I think natural medicine is, well, you're the statistic girl, Lee, but I mean, I'm sure it's a gazillion-dollar business at this point. When you think about, remember when we talked to Susan at Sleep Swag? I mean, between essential oils and crystals and, you know, all the things that people are using, I would imagine it's a huge business by now. And I think people are very interested in possibly, not that there's anything wrong with taking Lexapro, you know, if you got to take it, but there are other ways for us to help ourselves too. And, you know, Lyanca and I are just those people that we want to explore everything. The other thing I like about EFT as well, and I know you do too, Lee, it's like, you know, with tapping, it's something that when you're already in anxiety and you're overwhelmed, it's like, oh God, I got to do one more thing, you know? So the great thing about tapping is that you can do it in the car. You can do it. I do it in the shower. You know, I do it when I'm walking my dog. I mean, it's not, it works, and it's not something that is hard to get in your day. You know, it's not like you're having to add something else in. So I really love that, that it's a tool that is just so easy to use. I know it's out there more and more, but I'm still not sure people are aware of it. I had somebody ask me the other day, that thing that y'all were doing called tamping. So
your face.
Yeah,
somebody said,
touch your face,
like,
tamping.
I hope you just touch your face.
I know, because you know, at this point, I would have thought maybe by now there, you know, it would just be known, but it's not. So I'm glad that we're able to bring this to our viewers and our listeners because it works. So for our listeners, if you are not watching the video, there are points that I'll be doing, and if for any reason, I'll try to remember to say the points, but if I don't, go on goldensguide.org, and is that right?
Yes.
Or do they go to our YouTube channel?
they can go to goldensguide.org and click on the videos link. You can see the actual video play there.
And sign up,
you can
and then they subscribe, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And right there, well, you don't have to subscribe, but we would love to have you join. You'll still get some information. You'll still be able to see the video.
Good. So if for any reason this is new to you and you're you're not seeing exactly where we're tapping, just know that you can go to the videos and see exactly what we're doing, because Lyanca is the model. She's going to be doing it, and I'm going to be leading her through an exercise. So before we get into it, do you want to talk about it anymore? Do you have anything else?
Sure. One more thing. When she says model, she means like surrogate. So like,
thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
I thought maybe that might be the case, but I knew what you meant. But I wanted our listeners to really get that whenever I'm tapping, you can either use the same words that she's using, which are some feeling words around what I described I feel when I get anxiety. You can swap those words with your words, or you can swap them with whatever is going on for you right now. It's just, again, what Deborah said to her point about being able to do this anywhere. I remember when people would tell me to meditate when I had a little one, and that was the hardest thing to do, was to get quiet. So I would just start tapping. And you can do the same thing to experience release. And I promise, even if you don't feel anything right away, the release continues to happen, tomorrow. It just continues to run. I don't know exactly how it works, but I just know that it does.
Well, it does. It's like a pebble in a pond, and it kind of ripples out. So yeah, it continues to work, and it works even better if you will commit to doing it daily. And there's no, you don't have to do it. There's no perfection in EFT. If you're tapping on a point, there's no perfect point. If you're anywhere in the vicinity of where we're placing our hands, you're fine. Doesn't matter which hand you use. You can use both if you've got, if you can. Sure. But and then in the beginning, and let me give you a little more information. In the beginning, we do a setup. It's called a setup. And Lyanca and I have already had a little bit of pre-work, so the show wouldn't run so long today. But, we decided on something to use because you can tap along when someone else is, no matter what their topic is, and you can free up energy or space in your own mind and body just from probably even watching it. But we do invite you at home to tap along, and like Lyanca said, replace any words that you want to. And it's not basically we're using the form of anxiety because there's so many people that have that today. But you could use it for pain in the body. You could use it for, the last time we tapped on feeling like an imposter. You can use it for anger, for sadness. So, the idea here is that you pick something that is, really up for you, very difficult, and that would be the subject that you would tap on. And then you try to get as specific as you can with the feelings, right? So that's kind of where we're going with it. So, anything else, Lee?
No, I think that one thing, just to be sure to we do like a check-in. So where my anxiety is at right now.
Thank you.
So for you guys, I'm going to kind of put myself in, think about something, and bring to mind something that kind of makes me anxious, or just makes me anxious, or how I had been feeling over the last couple of weeks. It's just been a whirlwind of lots of stuff going on. My family, my grandma needed me to take her to go get her hearing aids, which I'm grateful to do. My mother needed me to do something. My work needed me. The show needs me. And these are all great problems to have, but sometimes it can just be a little overwhelming. And then when I turn on the news, it was just a lot more turmoil. And so just, I'm picking up on what other people are feeling as well. And it's sometimes sad.
Right. Yeah. So basically, what we're going to do is she's already given me some feeling words that are kind of going on for her. So, we're going to work with those. We're going to tap. We're going to use 3 statements. We call them setup statements, and we're going to tap on the karate chop, which is right here. Or Lyanca, if you will show them.
For the people on the podcast or listening only, this is like where your pinky,
below your pinky.
Where your pinky is, yeah.
Or like if you were actually going to do a karate with someone, it's like the outside of the hand. Yeah, that's why they call it the karate chop. So we do the setup, and that's really basically bringing up the topic. And I always like to think about it like this. You can't clean a house if you can't see the dirt, right? So,
ouch.
I think that's a really good way to look at what we're doing. So, there's a lot of people too that are a little bit resistant to saying, well, I don't want to say anything that's negative. I don't want to say I am sad, I am anxious, that kind of thing. But the reality is that we have to look at the feelings, acknowledge the feelings in order for them to be released. So
glad you said that.
Yeah, we're not going to stay in that place of, we're just bringing the feelings up so that we can move some energy and that they can, our body can start processing it and flowing again. Okay, very good. Anything else, Lee?
No.
Have I remembered everything?
I think so. I think my anxiety's a little bit, not as high, but I'll put it at a 7 if I jump in there.
This is going to help me today, too, because I am a little, I couldn't find my car keys to get to the studio. And then my printer wasn't working and blah, blah, blah. Everybody's got the story of, all the things that are.
So go there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Lyanca's already given me a little bit of information. That's how I know this. So, and that's what you would do if you were going to do it alone. You would think of a topic, and then you would think, okay, well, I'm feeling sad. Try to be as specific you can. Well, I'm feeling sad about blank. About what? About what happened yesterday, about how somebody spoke to me, about what happened yesterday. Try to be as specific as you can, because tapping can be as general or go very, very deep. I mean, people have really cleared some big traumas with this, as you were talking about. That's some serious trauma when you talk about veterans, obviously, right? So it can be used. It just depends on how much time you've got, how deep you want to go, and if you're not sure, there's lots of videos out there. Just Google EFT, and there's many practitioners. Or you can always reach out to us, and we'll be glad to support you in that way or get you pointed in the right direction. All right, so when Lyanca and I were talking about her anxiety, she was really talking about how as a mom right now, as a wife, as someone who has a full-time job, who has a podcast, who has a child. I mean, she's got a lot going on. Her grandmother depends on her. Her mother depends on her for things. And, I'm sure that many people are in the same boat. So she gave me some information. So that's why I already know this. So, all right, so let's get into the tapping. So tapping on the karate chop. So if you'll show them. All right, even though I'm feeling all this anxiety.
Even though I'm feeling all this anxiety, and just so you know, Deborah and audience, Deborah and I had a little bit of communication Just it is what it is whenever you work with somebody. And so with love, we're going to do this release here, because when you lose communication, sometimes you can get pushed to your limit, no matter whether it's right. So this is a great tapping for relationships too, and
Absolutely.
communication.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just keep tapping because, be thinking about what you're anxious about right now. And I'll just say one more thing. It's the idea, and Lyanca and I talk about this a lot. It's the idea of being, of recognizing what you're feeling so that you can release it. Like you can't clean your house if you can't see the dirt. It's that kind of thing. So it's being willing to be present enough to notice what you're feeling and then being able to release it. So, okay, even though I have all this anxiety, I choose to love myself anyway.
I choose to love myself anyway.
Even though I'm feeling all this anxiety, I'm choosing to feel better.
Even though I have all this anxiety, I'm choosing to feel better.
Even though I'm feeling all this stress in my body, I'm choosing to know that I can feel differently. Okay. Now we're going to start and we're going to go down the points. And I just kind of intuitively do it. I mean, most people do it maybe 1 or 2 rounds and then check back in. Oh, did you give me a number where you feel like you are on the range?
7.
7.
Yes.
Okay, good.
8,
All right,
8
so
if you think about that.
okay, well, yeah, it might be an 8 by now. Okay. All right. So, So tapping. If you at the top of the eye. I may or may not say each point, just so you know. All right. I'm having so much anxiety. Side of the eye. I'm feeling really anxious. Under the eye. There is so much to do. Under the nose. There's not enough of me. At the chin. Everybody wants a piece of me.
Everybody wants a piece of me.
You got okay. You laughed on that one, so we're gonna go to the collarbone and say it again. Everybody wants me.
Everybody wants me.
Everybody needs me.
Everybody needs me.
Under the arm. Sometimes I get really tired. Top of the head. Sometimes I feel like I just want to run away. Top of the eye. I start thinking, how am I going to get all this done?
I start thinking about, how am I going to get all this done?
Side of the eye. And then I start feeling like, what if I don't get it done?
And then I start feeling like, what if I don't get it done?
Under the eye. That causes even more stress. Under the nose. All this angst in my body. At the chin. I start feeling tightness. At the collarbone. I have tightness in my chest.
Golly.
Under the arm. I can feel my shoulders tight. On the head. I feel like I need to relax my shoulders. Top of the eye. All these things to do. Side of the eye. I don't know how I'll get it all done. Under the eye. Everybody needs me. Under the nose. I feel like sometimes that I'm afraid I'm going to sleep through the alarm.
I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm afraid I'm going to sleep through the alarm.
Under the chin. That's how anxious I am.
That's how anxious I am.
The collarbone. That's how anxious my body is.
That's how anxious my body is.
Under the arm. My poor body.
My poor body.
Top of the head. It's just trying to protect me.
It's just trying to protect me.
Top of the eye. All this stuff in my body.
All this stuff in my body.
I have to worry about it all.
I have to worry about it all.
Under the eye. No, I don't.
No, I don't.
Under the nose. Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
The chin. If I don't do it, who will?
Because if I don't do it, who will?
At the collarbone. I wish there were 5 of me.
Ooh. And I just know that whenever I'm yawning, you might want to say something. My eyes are getting watery.
Yeah, keep tapping. Whenever Lyanca is yawning, that's a release as well. A laugh, a yawn. There are a lot of body. It's just letting things go. So that's a good sign if you notice that's happening to you. So under the arm. My body's just trying to take care of me.
My body is just trying to take care of me.
Top of the head. It's letting me know.
It's letting me know.
That I've got a lot on my plate.
That I've got a lot on my plate.
Top of the eye. I appreciate my body.
I appreciate my body.
Trying to take care of me.
Trying to take care of me.
Side of the eye. But there's so much to do.
But there's just so much to do. I cry.
Under the eye. I'm so overwhelmed.
I'm so overwhelmed.
Under the nose. It makes me sad.
It makes me sad.
The chin. Because I really want to help everyone.
Because I really want to help everyone.
The collarbone. And then sometimes I'm last on the list.
And then sometimes I'm last on the list.
Under the arm. And that's really hard.
And that's really hard.
Top of the head. All these emotions.
All these emotions. I can't believe I'm crying.
Okay, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
I'm laughing because I'm crying.
No, I mean, here's the thing, everyone. This, when you're really feeling it and you start tapping, the tears are a release as well, right? The yawning, the tears, the laughter, it's the body actually letting go. So what Lyanca is demonstrating is actually a really good thing. Now, once we've gotten to the point where we brought the emotion up. And now we're going to tap in some more positive statements so that it can know that it's okay to go, right? All right, so we don't need to do a setup here, okay? So let's start. And she could still have some tears because she could still release. So during the entire process, just let the body do what it's going to do. It's okay. All right, so starting at the top of the eye, all this anxiety.
All this anxiety.
Side of the eye. What if I could relax and feel safe?
What if I could relax and feel safe?
Under the eye. Even though everything seems so overwhelming.
Even though everything seems so overwhelming.
Even though I have all this stress. I'm laughing and crying at the same time.
My body doesn't know. Even though I have all this stress.
Even though I'm laughing and crying.
Even though I'm laughing and crying.
Under the nose. I'm realizing it's safe to let this go.
I'm realizing it's safe to let this go. Ooh.
At the collarbone. It's okay to feel it.
It's okay to feel it.
Stay there. And it's okay to let it go.
And it's okay to let it go.
Take a breath. Take a deep breath. Everybody keep tapping on the collarbone. And whatever you're feeling, just let it come up. Under the arm. It's safe to feel my feelings.
It's safe to feel my feelings.
Top of the head. Even though I've been trained differently.
Even though I've been trained differently. Amen.
Top of the eye. This anxiety.
This anxiety
is just a feeling.
Is just a feeling.
Side of the eye. I can let it come in.
I can let it come in.
But I can also release it.
But I can also release it. Gosh, you can hear it in my voice.
Yes. Under the nose. It's okay to feel safe in my body.
It's okay to feel safe in my body.
Under the chin. I don't have to future trip.
I don't have to future trip.
The collarbone. I recognize I'm safe and everybody in my family is okay right now.
I recognize I'm safe and everyone in my family is okay right now.
Under the arm. I don't have to live in the future.
I don't have to live in the future.
Top of the head. I don't have to regret the past.
I don't have to regret the past.
I just have to breathe in this moment.
I just have to breathe in this moment. Goodness.
Side of the eye, because the more I relax.
Because the more I relax.
Under the eye, the more I release.
Oh. The more I release.
Under the nose, the more I relax.
The more I relax.
The chin, the more I release.
The more I release.
Collarbone is safe to release.
I'm all embarrassed. It's safe to release.
Under the arm. I am doing the best I can.
I'm doing the best I can. Golly.
Top of the head. And so is everybody else.
And so is everybody else.
Side of the top of the eye. Everybody is stressed out.
Everybody is stressed out.
Side of the eye. The one thing I can do for me and everyone.
The one thing I can do for me and everyone.
Is to tap and breathe.
Is to tap and breathe.
Under the nose. And remember that I'm safe.
And remember that I'm safe.
I'm just having an overwhelming feeling.
I'm just having an overwhelming feeling.
Collarbone. I accept who I am.
I accept who I am.
And how I feel.
And how I feel.
Under the arm. I accept who I am.
I accept who I am.
And the conflict.
And the conflict.
It's all okay.
It's all okay.
Top of the head. Top of the head. There's always tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow.
That list will be there tomorrow.
That list will be there tomorrow.
And the calmer I am.
And the calmer I am.
The more I can help me and my family.
The more I can help me and my family.
Take a deep breath. I went a little long, but I could tell you were releasing. So everybody at home, I mean, it's, I do it a little more on the intuitive side. Like sometimes I just, whatever comes, we'll tap it out and I'll say it, and, but you can use any of the words. I hope you're really getting this. So
I can't believe I cried.
You were laughing and crying, which is perfect. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, when you have
real,
a release,
y'all.
I mean, it is real. It is real. It's good to laugh. It's good to cry. It's good to let go.
It is. It really is.
So you were at a 7 on anxiety. If we measured now, what are you thinking?
I feel better. I mean, I feel like, you know how when you do cry and you do laugh and you like, you, whenever you have those like moments and then you turn around and like, I'm laughing. Like, it feels like I've moved through that. But nothing traumatic had to happen to me. In
Right.
fact, opposite.
Mm-hmm. So if you were at a 7 before, if you could measure it now, what do you think?
Probably a 3, probably a
3.
2,
Yeah.
maybe a 1. I mean, I think it's just.
And you know what? And here's something I want to
the way I
mention.
feel.
I want to mention to the audience. I mean, we could keep tapping and get it all the way down for her to where you eventually, when you get it, when you completely clear it, you'll be tapping and you'll be going, what am I even tapping about this for? Because it can be totally cleared. You just have to spend time on it. I mean, it depends on the person. It depends on, the issue. It depends on how deep it is. But you see, she went from a 7 or an 8 to a 2 or a 3, and we did that in about 15 minutes or less. And I think what it does too is it begins to open up those channels in the body, so there's not so much constriction and worry and fear and anxiousness, and opens you up to realize, okay, I'm okay. I'm going to be able to do this, I mean, our lives are going to be busy tomorrow too, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And the great thing is just remembering that we have tools like this to really help us get through. All right. Well, we're at time. You know me. I could do this all day long, but we're at time now. So, anything else you want to add, Lyanca?
No, thank you. I'm grateful to you, my partner. I get to do this work with you, but I invite anyone else to reach out to us. www.goldensky.org.
Absolutely. And if you've got things that you want to tap on, you can actually DM us privately as well, or send an email and we'll get back with you. So thanks for joining today. Hope you got a little relief on some anxiety. Send us any questions if you have them. And as always, we sign out because I always say we're still here. And Lyanca says,
I always say, your soul is golden. We're just here to help you remember. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. See you next time.